So let's talk about the supplements and let's talk about the beta hydroxybutyrate nonsense. Supplements. Let's talk about it all as we're waiting for you guys to chime in. And let's talk about the loracetin, which a lot of you guys who follow me know that I love. Actually, the general term is called manolorin. But here we go. Here we go. We already got one person in the house. What up, what up, what up, Saptira? Yo, and no time to what? Hi, everyone. Greetings. How is your day? How is life? Are we doing good today? All right, so everybody's coming in. Hey, Elisa. And Francis says, hi, everyone, because we are building a community of people who care about our health. Yes. Like up the stream, Shala says. All right, like, Juliet says, hey, everyone. I'm great. It's not as hot. I'm not freaking out. I don't have to have a fan on. I don't have to have my air conditioning on. I'm feeling fabulous, so let's do this. You know, I try to say let's do this as a quickie, which people are now joking like, Stephanie, you never do a quick live stream ever. All right, guys. So let's do this. I'm going to talk about supplements, and then I'm going to answer questions freely. Not as in bananas, but as in just freely. All right. Hello, Leto, Keto. All right, so here's the thing. And I'm not going to answer any questions. Someone get rich but won't stop. Okay. So if you have questions, wait. I'm going to do like a 5-minute little explanation about my take on supplements, because a lot of you guys are wondering, should you take supplements? Yes. The answer is yes. And that it would be magnesium only. That's the only one I'm actually really stringent about taking, because people who do a ketogenic protocol tend to be low on their magnesium, their potassium, and their sodium plus water, because we live in a fat-free and sodium-free diet, which destroys our body. So with that said, the reason why I say that you must take a supplemental magnesium, which I have somewhere, and I just wanted to do live stream very quickly, so I'm like, okay, I'm not going to go and look for it and show you, but I'll talk about it. So magnesium, I've spoken about this before. Our soils are depleted from this very essential mineral. So a lot of you guys are starting to deal with issues because, you know, once you do keto, you drop a lot of water because you're not eating carbohydrates anymore, which carbohydrates make you hold on to a lot of water, which I've explained many times. And so when you drop your carbs, your cells drop the water that it typically is retaining, right? Because you're very watery and puffy on a carbohydrate diet, and on keto you are not. So you drop that water, sometimes you drop it too quickly, and with that comes out your electrolytes. Now, the reason why people think that bananas are such a great source of things like, let's say, potassium, is because the fructose makes you hold on to water. So you're holding on to the potassium via the banana because of the fructose. Now, an avocado has more potassium than a banana, but an avocado doesn't have any fructose in it. So therefore, you need to really mind your electrolytes. It's one of the biggest problems I think that people have doing keto, where they think they're depressed or they're going through the keto flu, is because they don't drink enough water, they don't have enough sodium, because they're afraid of whatever with sodium, I don't know. And, well, I know, but or they typically are having symptoms of potassium deficiency. And as you guys know, I coach people all the time, and they're like, I'm magnesium deficient because I'm having heart palpitations. I'm like, no, baby cakes. No, you are having heart palpitations because you're potassium deficient, and you're having muscle cramps because you're magnesium deficient. So people sometimes get those two confused. All right, so I'm not answering any questions right now. I'm going to talk about electrolytes, because you know what? People who watch the replay complain that I'm all over the place, but I'm not. I'm actually explaining supplements right now, and I'm very clear, and there's no all over the place going on, so stop your complaining. When I answer questions, deal with it. All right, so here we go. Yeah, I love you. Hearts. So with that said, that's the number one supplement, right? Because we can't get magnesium rich foods. But we can get potassium rich foods, which is thing number one, spinach, especially boiled spinach. Yes, that might not be appealing to you guys, but if you don't want to have benign heart palps, that's the way to do it. If you have histamine intolerance, you might be able to handle avocados, which would be next. If you can't deal with avocados, then you might go towards things like pickle juice. Yes. If you can't deal with pickle juice, then you might go for things like bone marrow. And if you can't deal with things like bone marrow, I really don't want to suggest the other alternatives because they are processed. So with that said, potassium and magnesium are really a problem. People tend to have a lot of salt-rich foods, and then there are people who are afraid of salt. So make sure you get at least 5 grams of salt per day, at least. Yes, that's 1 teaspoon per day throughout the day. If you don't want to have a pounding headache. If you do get a headache, then just add immediately a half a teaspoon of Celtic, Celtic, or Himalayan salt to an 8 or 10 ounce glass of water and chug-a-lug that down, because if you're just starting keto, that is a way to get rid of that headache because you have dropped so much water. Hence, you have the problems with holding on to your electrolytes. Now, let's talk about these other supplements as I drink water. Another thing you guys don't do is drink enough water because, again, you're losing a lot of water. And a lot of people think that they're losing weight on the scale. They're like, oh my god, I lost so much weight in 2 weeks, it's so fabulous. And I'm like, no, you did not lose any fat, you lost muscle, and you lost water. People get that super confused, that concept, because they step on a scale, they're like, lost weight. I'm like, no, it takes a long time to keto adapt, and only those who are very diligent and consistent actually adapt. Because way back in the day when people would present the numbers, I'd be like, oh yeah, you're adapted. And then they would fall off keto or they'd have problems. Then I'm like, oh, you can actually have good ketone numbers and not be adapted. Okay, well, let's figure this out. All right, hello from Reno. Like up this stream because I'm just getting started. Now, with that said, let's go towards the other supplements. Okay, I hate supplements. They have their place and then they don't have their place. So let's go over them. Now that we got the electrolytes out of the way, let's hit the other stuff. Let's go for the leaky gut. So a lot of you guys have leaky gut. And for those who chimed in, because we've got 99 people in this chat and you don't know what leaky gut is, go look at your poop. Okay? Go look at your pee. Look to see if your pee is bubbly, because that tends to be protein loss. And look at your stool to see if it's pale. Look to see if it's floating, if it's greasy, if it's loose, or if you got hard pebble nuggets coming out of your bum. Because you most likely have some type of dysbiosis or leaky gut. Now, for those who know what it is, I'm going to sound like a broken record. But leaky gut is when you eat typically plant source foods constantly out of season that have been genetically altered. Yes, they've been genetically altered, and so they have raised the amount of anti-nutrients that destroy our gut, our small intestine, right? And then mess up the bacteria in the large intestine. So you have these little microvilli in your small intestine that sits below your stomach, and this will help filter and break down foods to even small molecules to get into the bloodstream, to give nutrition, so you can do what? Have the mother-sucking business, right? So if you don't have the business, we got to see what's going on with the gut, right? We got the large intestine, and then we got the small one. Let's go through this. So what happens, you guys eat bread your whole life, then you have cheese and milkshakes and whey protein shakes and glyphosate and chemicals, and that just breaks the little, lovely little delicate microvilli hairs down, and then the walls of your small intestine begin to open, and everything becomes a hot mess. And it can take years for this to actually collapse on you. So you're like, I don't know, I ate wheat for like 20 years and I felt so fine, and now like I don't feel well, and it can't be the wheat. Yes, it is the wheat. All of us have a sensitivity to it because we have genetically altered that mother sucker. Now, 10,000 years ago, we would stone grind that wheat, right? That grain, and it was like gritty, nasty sand. So we kept selectively breeding and hybridizing and lengthening the chains of gluten so that the bread became more soft. Hence, disease started to just percolate because we are not cows. We do not have the four stomachs to break down and strip out the protein from this grass and utilize it. We don't have that. What it does, it destroys the one stomach or one digestive tract that we have. So here we go. Now, the problem is the thing called reaction. The body doesn't understand oats that are for horses. They're not for people. Okay? So get rid of your oatmeal. Oats, it doesn't understand rice. It doesn't understand casein and the milk proteins. And the brain just stamps it as all the same thing, which is wheat. So all of a sudden, wheat starts the domino effect, and then the other things begin to react. Your brain doesn't see the difference, can't distinguish the difference between all those foods. It's all the same, and you get sick, and you get puffy and broken blood vessels, and tired, and disease, and then you die. So, with that said, my protocol, which I'm really proud of, because people talk about the GAPS protocol, and I'm like, yo, when I went through the GAPS, I was like, Stephanie's is way more extensive and comprehensive and more a badass than the GAPS to heal the gut. So let's talk about supplements with leaky gut. Now, somewhere got glutamine, but I don't use it anymore. So glutamine is an amino acid that can help seal those open gap junctions. Now, that microvilli is not going to fix that, but it can fix those those holes in the wall and make them tighter. Now, the reaction that people have to leaky gut isn't just the stool quality. Yo, you feel tired, annoyed, you feel bloated, you feel depressed, and you develop things like RA, and you develop like your polycystic ovarian syndrome pops out, and any type of genetic mutation now just, it was quiet for years, and now it pops on, and cancer and thyroid and blah, 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 and all these things begin to, all these, I'm all in a rant, all of these things get flipped on. Now, we could have all of these genetic links to certain things, and then living in a toxic world with toxic food, we'll start switching on these quiet genes. Bread, that's what it do. And grains, and cheese. Yes, that's why I'm not a proponent of cheese, because people are not adapting on it because it irritates the frack out of them. Now, with that said, and everyone's like, I eat this and I feel fine. Well, you don't know how fine looks, and you don't look fine. So you must redefine fine in your mind. So with that said, because I got the special eye, right? Special eye. So how do you heal leaky gut? You can use supplements, but you guys know, and leaky gut can also drive down the HCl levels in your stomach and drive up the bad bacteria, and then it's an explosion mess. So we have glutamine, which can help seal the small intestine. You can only take it with food. It's typically a powder. It's a protein. And so when you take it, and often it's in powdered form, and people just throw it in a tea and drink, and all of a sudden their blood sugar spikes, right? Because it's been touched by man. It's been powderized and hydrolyzed and into a powder form, and it doesn't really have to be digested, and then it can enter the bloodstream too quickly, and then anything that enters the bloodstream too quickly because man got his hands on it can frack up Mother Nature. So you want to take that with food so it digests slowly. If you're eating it with protein and fats and your carbohydrates, your keto carbohydrates, then it's going to go into your food slowly. So that's how you take your amino acids. It works for some, doesn't work for other. And I'll tell you one thing. That glutamine or any of these supplements are not going to work very well if you cannot connect to the circadian rhythm and diaphragmatic breathe, which I've been saying, and get your stress down. It just won't work. It won't work. Now, the people who are on this live stream right now who are in my private Facebook group, it's a monthly membership. I did a mini consultation, split screen, because you can't do that on YouTube. Y'all need to get up with it, okay? And a woman was having like a really upsetting moment because she was like, how long are things going to take to heal my gut? And I said, well, let's talk about your sleep. And instantly we found holes in her lifestyle that it slowed down the process of healing. And in her mind, she had already been through so much to change her life that she didn't feel like she had the time with kids and family and job to do more things to heal that gut lining. But let me tell you right now, if you don't heal that gut wall, you won't adapt very well because that fat will end up in the toilet, including your ketones. So we have to seal the gut lining. Now, one thing I love is slippery elm, right? This is an herb, and all supplements like this are meant to be taken in cycles so your body learns how to heal on its own. Once you start taking exogenous things, then that's what your body waits for, still learning how to work on its own. Now this creates a mucus film on your pipes, stomach, intestine, everything. And it's a great way to allow those systems, those digestive systems to heal. Plus it's fibrous, so for those who've got histamine intolerance, who cannot eat plants because they are so fracked up, then slippery elm is a very gentle way to get in your fiber. So, there's one. Now, you guys know I'm a big fan of the lauricidin, and this is, if you see, they're like little white pellets, if my phone will then, and this is concentrated coconut oil. Looks like coconut oil, melts just like coconut oil. It's pretty much concentrated the lauric acid or the monolaurin in the coconut oil, that fatty acid, and it's great because this is antimicrobial, bacterial, and viral. So for maintenance, and also it likes to kill parasites, like the Giardia and Candida. It really brings those like infections down exponentially. Now, lauricidin, a monolaurin, the generic term is monolaurin, does not break down biofilms, so, but it can bring down the candida spores, and I beg to say that all you guys watching, all you 117, you got a fungal infection going on right now, all of you. Now, why is there 62 people who only like this stream? And we got 116 licky-loos. So for anyone who just found me, please remember to like up the stream because that brings people to this. And let me tell you right now, most people do not stream as long as I do because it is exhausting. It's exhausting. They go on for a half hour, they talk about whatever, they take 2 questions and they leave. And when I'm done talking about this, you guys, I'm going to sit down and take like 400 questions. So don't forget to like up that stream. It helps the YouTube algorithm for people to find me because I am buried under, and I sound so pedantic and sardonic today, excuse me. When I sit down, I will sound much nicer, I promise. Or more nice. It's just been a long day, child. Y'all, it's just been a long day. So don't forget to like up the stream because we've got 125 people in the house right now. So with that said, I'll take your guys' questions in a second, so just hold on real tight. Now, potassium supplements, and I want to get to the supplements that are very toxic to your liver. So this is the reason why I do not promote potassium supplements, but we'll get there because I'm kind of bouncing between the electrolytes and things like candida and leaky gut, because those would be the supplements that I would consider. Leaky gut, right? Low HCl, no gallbladder. Now, if you don't have a gallbladder, or if you have gallbladder sludge or stones from a bovine ox, moo! You can get ox bile salts, which will help a lot of you guys who are like, I ate a bunch of fat and I just feel pressure in my stomach, I feel nauseous, and the stool is floating. Then if you don't know this, your gallbladder, and a lot of people find out that they've got gallbladder issues when they do a high fat diet, because you need a gallbladder to break down fat into small enough molecules to fit within the bloodstream, and that includes your darn ketones. So if you don't have a freaking gallbladder, you're going to have a very difficult time. Plus leaky gut, which it's a cocktail between all this mess. Then you would use ox bile. Now, you don't need to use ox bile if you don't have a gallbladder problem. If you take ox bile, this is what I've learned through coaching people, and you won't find this data on the internet because nobody thinks about this kind of stuff. If you take ox bile salts, right, to break down your fats, to use them and be able to use your ketones, do not use ox bile, you guys, if you don't have a gallbladder problem, because then you're adding way too much bile salts, to your body. It can give you a stomach ache or give you this kind of acid reflux burning sensation. And this is what I've learned for people who've got enough bile salts, a gallbladder that holds it, and they add more in. No. So if you think you have low stomach acid, which a lot of you guys do, which is another, so there's a couple of reasons why your stool floats, which should be the title of this video, but I'll do this next time. The reason why your stool floats is either one, you are gassy and farty, right? And that gas, if you really farty, some of y'all are real farty, that can make your stool float. But if you have farty, if you're super farty, 9 times out of 10, y'all got some leaky gut symptoms as well, or candida. So, you know, these things make your stool float. That's why the medical community is inconclusive, because they don't factor in dietary things and they don't really study leaky gut. It's something that's a new term, so people don't know how to remedy it, and they give you stupid pills that just make things worse. So, your stool can float if you are farty, but if you're that farty where it makes your stool float, I think that you also have candida, which can also make your stool float. Leaky gut obviously makes your stool float because you're not absorbing your fats. And a big one is having issues with your gallbladder. You either don't have one, or you have stones, or you have sludge, and you didn't even know that you had sludge because you ate a low-fat diet prior to keto, and then you pound on the fat, you're like, I feel so bad. I feel so bad. Now, a lot of you people might not be hungry on fat. You think, I'm not hungry. Do I have to eat? Yes, you have to eat. Okay, you have to eat dietary fat to then get your body to start converting the dietary fat into ketones. Because if you don't do that, the body does not develop the enzymes to actually break down the fat and convert it into ketones via the liver. So you can't skip the process, right? When I used to skateboard as a pro skater, you couldn't just walk to the top of a vert ramp with 2 feet or 4 feet of vert and just go and hit the transition. You had to skate from the bottom. You had to skate from the bottom until you got to the top. You cannot start skating a vert ramp by dropping in the first day. So you gotta walk, you gotta crawl before you walk. You cannot eat low fat and be ketotic. That's just starving, because your carbs are low and your fat is low. You're just starving. Now, the reason why I sound so pedantic is because I say this stuff all the time, and I see comments just blowing up my screen, so I get more like, hold on, people. Now, so potassium supplements can be very, very toxic to your liver, and they don't give you a lot of potassium. That's why I want you to get it from real food. But with that said, with the leaky gut, monolaurin, you can use things like oregano oil and coconut oil pooling, right? Is very beneficial to pool, to get into the bloodstream under the tongue, sublingual, get into the bloodstream. When you're done pooling or swishing for like 20 minutes, rinse, spit, because you're gonna have a lot of bacteria in your mouth. So you don't want to swallow that. So a lot of people who've got histamine intolerance cannot deal with oregano oil, so don't swallow it. You guys start off by oil pulling it to see if you respond to it or not. Now, with that said, let's continue. Magnesium. So I said before that magnesium is great. The types of magnesium mainly would be glycinate. Glycinate in the evening. And if you can't poop because you have thyroid or candida or some type of gut issue and you got hard pebbles, take citrate. Boom! Yo, thank you so much, Juliet, for donating to the super chat. And she writes, small amounts for enormous amounts of information. Small amounts for enormous amounts of information and energy. I got some energy! Thank you, Juliet. I really appreciate the donation to the super chat. So I don't know why you guys are asking questions. I'm literally standing about 4.5 feet away from my phone, and I can't see anything because for some reason YouTube changed, like white box with black text to black boxes with white text, and you know it's hard to read white text. I don't know why they did that. I digress. Here we go. So, thank you, Irish Woman 45, for the fiber. Thank you for donating to this super chat. As you guys know, I don't really ask you to do it. But if you like the stream, you like the information, YouTube has created a way to donate to the content because advertisers pulled out so people don't make money like they used to. But I never really monetized that many of my antiquated videos. So me turning on the super chat was sort of like an experiment to step into the 2018, soon to be 2019, see how it works. But with that said, glycinate. Now the milligrams. Now, if you have a good source, well sourced, because I don't like supplements. Because once man starts getting his hands on it, there's a problem, and they start adding weird additives and nastiness and chemicals. Make sure it's well sourced. I don't like to talk about brands because sometimes brands add additives that I don't like, and then they're like, "You said to take this brand, and now they do this." So I'm just saying, you guys, you source out the high quality of any supplements that I suggest. Let me see here. Now, probiotics and fermented foods. Careful. If you do a fermented food, and that excludes kimchi and kombucha because it's just too many carbs. But if you're doing like a sauerkraut, which is a great fermented vegetable supplementally to deal with dysbiosis of the gut, but child, you take a little pinch of that and stick it in your mouth and start that low. You cannot do tablespoons of it because you can make bacteria that are unfriendly to your gut wildlife grow out of control. So if you've ever had sauerkraut and you get bloated on it, or probiotics, don't touch it. A lot of you guys can have actually a histamine response to the probiotic, and that's the reason why, like, if you try anything, even if you do a betaine HCl for your stomach acid, or if you do an ox bile, go under the recommended dose. Don't start with the recommended dose. Start very, very, very small, because some of you guys get the Hershey squirts from coconut oil. And you're like, why can't I do coconut oil? I can cook with it, but then I eat it and it's like squirt. Small amounts with food. Now, with that said, I want to talk about supplements that can hurt you. So, like vitamin D supplements and these high IUs, people are taking 50,000 IUs of freaking vitamin D. And the liver's like, you're just killing me. Be careful for certain supplements, like vitamin D, B complex supplements. Like, they can irritate the liver. And we just don't think. Aspirin, NSAIDs, proton pumps, all of these daily things that you guys just plop in your mouth, anything, protein shakes, branched chain amino acids, everything that you take, you have to look at what you put in your mouth. And people don't do that, or even on your skin, because the skin can absorb things very quickly. That's the reason why transdermal magnesium is great in one context, because it can hit the bloodstream faster. It doesn't have to be digested, but a very much lower than amounts than the oral magnesium. So that's the reason why I'm like, you could do both, but just if you're very magnesium deficient, you just can't do a transdermal magnesium. Now, with that said, let's keep this cracking. People with thyroid disorders, I don't like to talk about this because this really doesn't really encompass keto or things like metformin for people who've got polycystic ovarian syndrome. When it comes to pharmaceuticals, okay, it's a big problem to adapt on pharmaceuticals. Can you? Yes. Thyroid, I'm telling you, like, unless you got Hashis, if you just have the thyroid symptoms, I would rather that you guys try to get well-sourced D, selenium, zinc from food, your iodine from food like seaweed and kelp, and try to avoid the actual supplements, or, even if they're natural, even if they're, nature's best, or pig, was it armor? Even if it's armor, you want your thyroid to start working on its own, because you pretty much are just putting a Band-Aid when you're using like diroxin and all this stuff. You just got to be very, very careful with supplements and medication. Plus, they can make your blood sugar spike. And the metformin for PCOS, that behooves me. Why are they putting people on metformin for PCOS? Okay? you can regulate your blood sugar with PCOS quite easily if the doctors just knew what to tell you. And to actually, if doctors have 7 minutes, 7 minutes, and that's why they push you out of the office so fast. Because they got next one, next one, next one, next one. They don't have time. With you guys, I do consultations, so I sit down and actually ask you all this stuff and try to figure out your background. Let's go back to the beginning. When your mama's womb, okay, were you C-section? Did your mom breastfeed you? Were you on soy milk? All of these things that create all of these freaking allergies and all these issues and digestive issues and skin issues that you guys have. Now, so be careful with vitamin D. It's very, very toxic to the liver. So in high IUs, and so is potassium, which, and potassium supplements don't even come near to the amount of potassium that you actually need to regulate the cells. So people start pounding these and they start to potentially damage their liver. Herbs can damage your liver. Cassia, cinnamon, can damage your liver in excess for long periods of time, and this will destroy your keto adaptation, which is why I wanted to do a video, extensive and comprehensive video on supplementation and medication potentially on keto. Now, and I don't like NSAIDs, which are blood thinners, and I don't like proton pumps that are like Tums and Pepto-Bismol and omeprazole and all these things to lower your stomach acid, because a lot of you guys who have heartburn don't realize that you actually have low stomach acid, not high stomach acid, and now you're lowering it exponentially. And a lot of you guys don't understand the whole thing about sodium. Sodium is going to raise the water volume. That's the reason why they don't like it with people with CAD, which is coronary artery disease, because if they've got very fragile arteries that are like paper thin, and the sodium raises the water volume within the arteries, they can tear. That's it. But if you're healthy, don't be afraid of your Celtic or Celtic and Himalayan salt, because you're going to need that as an electrolyte. Now let's get to the exogenous garbage, junk, and the keto products that are garbage. Beta hydroxybutyrate salts are a scam. Okay, when they first came out, they were touted to put you into ketosis and drop weight. Well, that didn't happen with anyone. And there was a lot of placebo effect. They're like, I think so, I think I'm losing weight, no, you're not. You're losing water, and a lot of people don't understand, and I really, really suggest that people do dunk themselves underwater or do a DEXA scan to understand their actually body fat percentage, so they know that when they're losing something, they know if they're losing muscle or water, so they can't just step on a scale and be like, I take BHB salts, and they were great. Now, BHB salts are salts, and they give people stomach aches. Yes, and they're expensive. So it's a salt that irritates your stomach, that spikes a lot of people's blood sugar, not everyone, and it creates ketones in the blood when you use urine strips and a blood glucometer, but then they just drop into the toilet. And that's why when people use a urine strip and it turns purple, they're like, I'm in ketosis. No, you're not in ketosis, because your urine strip turned purple. You're hemorrhaging ketones. You're not using anything. And if your blood sugar is high, you cannot use ketones even if they came from your body. You will use some ketones, but you will not use all the ketones, because now the brain sees 105 milligrams per deciliter of blood glucose in the blood. Why would it use ketones, especially exogenous salts that irritate your body? So they went from saying that it puts you into ketosis, and then changed their whole thing by saying, well, it could be, it could help people with brain injuries. It could help people with any type of brain issues. It could. Note, it could, because there's just no proof in it as of yet. So with that said, the everyday person who buys the beta hydroxybutyrate salts, and they put it in everything now. They put it in bars and shakes, this garbage and that garbage, and it's just garbage. Garbage. Now, I don't like things like chromium, people using chromium, berberry, cinnamon, all these things to lower the blood sugar. You need to learn how to diaphragmatic breathe. You need to know how to get to bed earlier. You need to correct your plumb line and your posture and your pronated shoulders and your tilted pelvic girdle. These are the things, right? And you need to be able to detox and poop. These are the things that get you into ketosis. Now, supplements have their place, but then you take them in like digestive enzymes. You use them and get rid of them, because if you stay on digestive enzymes and probiotics for years, first of all, the probiotics years after years after years aren't going to work well, and they can just literally create an imbalance of gut biome, because now you're just putting too much of the acidophilus nonstop into your gut, and that creates an imbalance. Now, with digestive enzymes, the body's like, well, why would I go into the body factory and make enzymes when she's taking supplemental enzymes that never are going to work as good as Mother Nature? Whatever man makes, it's never, ever going to work as well like melatonin. Melatonin is never going to work as well as your own melatonin. So stop taking exogenous things because you guys are impatient, because you guys think that you don't have time, because you're not going to correct your body until you deconstruct everything, clear out all the garbage, all the bad food, all the excuses, and start from the beginning and start building your health. That's how you adapt. And for those who don't do that, don't try keto, because you'll frack yourself up and it will hurt you. Now, I'm going to sit down and take some of these questions. Here we go. Well, Mike, there's all different types of magnesium, and you guys are just flooding. So glycinate is a chelated one. It gets into your system more easily. And citrate helps you relax the bowel so you can poop. And a lot of people have, see, I have the sleeve, but I have the sleeve, the gastric sleeve. I don't know why you did that. Don't use blackstrap molasses. Nope. You will not adapt on that. I'm telling you guys, you won't adapt. Let me see, is it normal that my blood ketones are 4.1? So they're too high. Glucose is 3.8 millimolars. So yeah, it sounds like a little quasi-hypoglycemia. But you also have to write down how you feel on that. Yes, Jay, the oil is fine. Yes. Do I count the protein in broccoli? No, you don't count protein in any plants because they are incomplete proteins, okay? They're not the complete set of 22 amino acids. Therefore, they will not spike your blood sugar. MCT oil is not needed on keto anymore at all. It's processed, don't need it. And neither is coconut oil, but animal fat is very needed or you want to adapt. Keto aid is garbage. Is seafood salad, okay, I don't even know what keto aid is, but it sounds like garbage. Because it sounds like something in a package, especially if it's BHB salts. Seafood salad, okay to eat? No, you want to have fatty meats. You can have seafood salad on occasion, but you really need the fatty acid profile from what we are just like, right? Mammals. So what do you do about extremely dry skin? You could use primrose oil. Some say that helps, or get off of keto. Carb cravings, even with the fat. I don't know how much fat you're taking in, so if you're still having carb cravings, you could have leaky gut. You may not be using those fats, which might... Whoa! What's up, Beryl? Thank you so much. And this person writes, I think it's a woman, so due to work, never get to see you live, but I watch all the replays. You are awesome. Thank you so much, Beryl. If I say your name right, Beryl. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate everybody who donates to the super chat, because it shows, even though this is not my main source of income clearly, but it does show a really strong appreciation, and it is hard to exist on the internet. Trust me, y'all don't want to be on the internet. See, I'm scared because my glucose was usually in the 80s. Thanks, Jay. Love you too. Thank you, Jay. Been seeing your name for a while. See, I'm scared because my glucose was usually 80s before keto. Now is anywhere between 77 to 99. Should I be worried? No. If your glucose was 80 on carbs, child, you were not eating enough food, honey. That's pretty low. Was it consistently? Was it 80 all day long? If it wasn't 80 all day long, that was. You know what, Nicole? I just need more information. I'm just dropping water all over, and I need to remember to drink water because it's an electrolyte. Fish oil is great. Don't take too much. You guys can thin your blood on it. Fish oil, drop your fish oil in a glass of water, and if it starts degrading within 20 minutes, it's not of high quality. See, grass-fed liver capsules. You guys just eat liver. You're not like this. It's like lost half of 70% of anything that's good because you're having dried out, like with the iron and some of the fat soluble vitamins are gone. See, hi Stephanie, how many milligrams of oxbol for for no gallbladder. I don't know. You're gonna have to go check that out yourself. Yep. See, how would I replace electrolytes? So I explained that, Rachel, in the beginning. Spinach, avocado, pickle juice for potassium, bone marrow, bone broth, and sodium, easy. And magnesium would be supplemental. So trans and sublingual or oral. Live in the Pacific Northwest. How do I get vitamin D around here? You can buy one of these light boxes. They're a little expensive, but they're worth every penny. So you could take my Juve, which I gotta talk about that Juve, because it brought out my melasma, which I didn't know I had, but that's another subject. But you could do a light box that has the UVA and UVB light, and it's great. Like, you can order them. They're like the size, they're like 4 feet tall. You put them on the wall stand, 10 minutes, and you can get and it's, if you guys live in a place like I lived in Sweden, 9 months out of the year it's dark. A lot of people are D deficient there, and a light box is perfect for that. And plus each vitamin D rich foods. Collagen peptides. Do you? I don't take collagen. I take collagen, but not collagen peptides. Okay, let me see. Will keto work with eggs? What? With just eggs? No, you can't just have egg fat. There's no way. There's only like, what is it, 4 grams of fat per yolk, and you got to hit 200 grams. Nope, that's not gonna work, child. Let me see here. What rebuilds collagen? Intermittent fasting. Look at MB. Intermittent fasting ruined. Intermittent fasting, which I should talk about, ruined MB's collagen because of so much gluconeogenesis, because of not having enough gasoline in the tank, so just kept eating at this person's collagen, which people don't understand. You intermittent fast, you risk ruining your skin, the collagen, all kind of stuff. I mean, collagen can help, but I really think that keto can be very much an epigenetic experiment that potentially, can repair DNA and maybe grow back some collagen, but I really don't know. That's a guess. What kind of medical tests one should do? I would go to mymedlabs.com and do some comprehensive panels where you can test your gut biome, your reproductive hormonal panels. And I mean, people can check to see if how their glutathione is and things of this nature. You can do a MTHFR gene mutation test, but I really just think that your gut and your reproductive hormonal your insulin and your insulin, that's top of the list, and your A1C if you have really weird blood sugar. It's tomato fruit. It's a fruit. It's a fruit. Tomatoes are musical fruit. The more you eat them, the more you have nightshade problems and thyroid problems. Okay, so Paul said, I did intermittent fasting for 10 months, and at the beginning felt amazing. Exactly. But on the distance, I developed hypoglycemia and probably fracked up my thyroid and adrenals. Very few can handle it. No intermittent. Did you see that, Paul? Thank you so much for writing this, because I wasn't even really talking about intermittent fasting, and MB and Powell brought it up. You guys, people do intermittent fasting, they feel great in the beginning. And then all of a sudden they're like, why do I have tingling under my fingertips? I'm like, Raynaud's disorder, like too much cortisol, gluconeogenesis, like, don't intermittent fast if you don't want to destroy your thyroid and adrenals. Yep. Okay, Shala, Stephanie C. donation. Oh, where? Did I miss one? Did I miss a donation? Oh, thank you, Shala. Thank you, Shala. Thank you. I always see you on Instagram. You guys, my Instagram is Stephanie Ketogenic, and I see Shala there all the time. She gives me a little DM. So thank you. I appreciate you as well, because you've been a supporter for a long time. Sorry I missed your, hey, Deborah's in the house, and she's one of my moderators, but everybody's been awesome. Deborah, today, no problems as of yet. And we got 148 people in this chat, so I'm really stoked about that. Where do you get ox bile salts? You can get them at Amazon. I think that Whole Foods and your local Health Mart sells them. We're okay. See, is store bought bone broth okay? I mean, a lot of stuff is already dead. Like, some of the active enzymes aren't really good. I would just go and make it. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. Seriously. Thank you for the Instagram love. Yes, right? Inshallah. You guys go to my Instagram. I do stories every day on health. I am on Instagram nonstop. Dare I say, become a millennial. I'm not as often on YouTube anymore. I come every other day now. Yes, Deborah is saying hello to everyone. Say, to help with the big picture on most individuals in this forum, to heal yourself, you have to understand that most of the problems, most of the problems we have, you've been, cured of the course of 10, 20, 30, 10, 20 years, 10, 20, 30 years? Acquired, sorry. Have been acquired of the course of 10 years. For me, I've done it 10 years. So, I've been keto, I've been strict keto for 10 years with 0 refeeds on anything. No sweet potato, no ice cream, no bread, no alcohol, no caffeine. Like, I've gone clean as clean can get because I am my own experiment, and so are you guys. Yes. And you guys know I'm turning 51 in a matter of weeks. This is a 51-year-old woman with a terrible knee injury. I used to be a pro skateboarder. I destroyed my knee, which then started destroying my right hip, which needs to be replaced, but now doesn't need to be replaced because I've managed the inflammation and the osteoarthritis in this hip because of doing keto. Thank you, keto. I can't even explain. Okay, I swear I get no kickback from U.S. Wellness Meats by try them 55% ground beef with beef heart. Does that mean you like U.S. Wellness Meats, but then you don't get any kickback for it? At 1.8 ketone level is that good? Yes, but then you got to factor in your glucose, because if your glucose is crappy, then okay. So you make ketones, but you may not use them. So can't wait to the book come. Yeah, me too, honey. Me too. I'm getting more strict on these time. I got like 13 more minutes in this before I go. My fasting ketone is 5.8, which is too high, way too high, and your blood sugar is 75. You've got hypoglycemia, and this means, glucose of, 5.8? No, the ketones were 5.8. Okay, so glucose, here's the thing, like on the internet, no one explains this. I don't understand why somebody like me is the only one talking about this. If your ketones are over a 3, you're not using them. That's the reason why this person's stool is floating, because the ketones are ending up in the toilet. That's the problem. And when your ketones get too high, they just keep rising. They got nowhere to go. They're like, I'm trying to go here. No, I can't get in the door. Can't go in this door. Can't get in that door. And then they just end up being eliminated into your toilet. And so with the ketone at 5.8, that means that you're not using a ton of ketones. And then the glucose is 75, that's hypoglycemia, because now the blood sugar is really low. Not terribly low, but it's pretty low. And the ketones are too high, and there's no gasoline to drive a Maserati. I'm just saying. Let's see here. Let me see how much protein per meal for a woman 3 times a day. From 45 to 55 grams of protein per day, so between 14 and 17 and a half per meal 3 times a day. Let me see. I take Stephanie's advice. It's 8 p.m. Central, and I try to get off the computer about now and just relax. Yeah, and I chat with family. Yes, Juliet! Then off to bed. Night, everyone. Night, Juliet. Marie, thank you so much. Thank you. Hearts. Kichelle's like hearts. Whoa, Lulu Lime Designs. Thank you so much. You're so beautiful. You're such a beautiful person. Thank you, Lulu Lime. She writes, the consult you did yesterday on Facebook group page was so helpful to me. Okay, thank you. Yes, that was pretty emotional. I just didn't like. I told you guys I had a live Q&A on my private Facebook Keto course group, and I do mini consultations, and I really, really dug into one person, and I think it just resonated with all the people in the group. Everyone could identify with this one person's issues because we all have them. So thank you, Lulu Lime Designs, for donating to the super chat. Ain't no dang, you 50. Yeah, child, I'm 50, Rachel girl. Mm-hmm. 50. Okay, this information is always solid. Thank you. Was it? I think he wrote he, but here's where her business. Check it. Business, right? That's the business. Business. The business. That's the business. This is the business. Yay! Okay, let me see. Hearts, hearts, hearts. Thank you, Matthew. Steph, you said what? What? And Chili. Shoot, Chili ain't got nothing on this. Yo, I'm older than Chili. I don't look like you. You look like Chili from TLC. Not really. I look like everyone. Lisa Bonet and Angela Bassett and Dee from What's Happening, which is not true, Beyonce, and Chili. Yeah. Oh, and Will Smith's wife, Jada. Let me see. Looking. Let me see. Can't wait to give you an update. And my book's still coming out. I'm still writing it, guys. So stop asking me when is it coming out. Triceps popping, right? Thank you, Stephanie, for the help. Helping us to have a better health. Yay! Thank you, Maya. Maya. Chili Southern Swang. Chili as in child. Oh, chow. You mean like that? Sorry, I got you wrong. I can't even get ketones at a 1 point. Oh, your fats are too low, Kelly. Yeah, way too low. Your fats way too low. Energy, right? Black seed oil, man. No, don't need it. Steph, what about the keto? What about the other keto experts saying you're not starving yourself because your body will use its own body fat for fuel? No, Alex, it doesn't. You actually, you can burn fatty acids, which is just fat, or you can actually take that fat and convert it into ketones and get it into the brain as in brain fuel. And so that's a process. It takes 3-month chunks to teach your body how to keto adapt. And so just because you don't eat anything, you can make the ketones, but you know where they go? They go like this. In the toilet! And you don't use them. And you feel like shite. Watch the comments of people on this page saying that their ketones are high and their blood sugar is low, and they're not in ketosis. It's way more of a complicated system than people really understand. Is fish egg, what? Fish eggs? I guess so, yeah. Make sure they're fatty. Let's see, 2 kidneys must be good. What? 2 kidneys? See, Steph, our sleep, digestion, water retention can be vary due to weather changes. When it's hot, yeah. But like when you're, I think the water retention is not just being hot. I know you retain water, but we're also taking in things like sodium, which is a factor in heat and sodium and water swell. And plus we're on our feet too much. Like we don't know how to relax as humans. Like hunter-gatherers, they would be like in a hammock, chilling. 54 doing great, but could be better. Yo! Well, make your life better in your 50s. Okay, once it's cold outside again, sleep is like, or sleep is better. Okay, we read that. Or fat bombs, okay. So the kind of fat bombs you guys want to have are fat bombs that don't have things like coconut butter in it and cream in it. Coconut cream or actually dairy cream. You want to do it with butter, right? If you don't have an aversion or histamine intolerance to butter, which is just mainly the fat. People are like, why not cream and butter? Because butter is mostly fat and it doesn't have the IGF-1 growth factors in it. Okay, how many broccoli can you? Okay, so you want to have at least like nothing more than let's say 4 grams of total or net of broccoli. So it's like 2 handfuls measured raw. And how you cook it. My blood sugar is starting to get in range. Good. How many meals do you recommend on keto and how? So, is that Gina? Gus, sorry. So Gus, that's a good question. If you're hypoglycemic, unfortunately, you have to eat 6 times a day. If you're not hypoglycemic, I would say 3 times with maybe a little fat snack, depending on if you have that afternoon like lull or if you have that post breakfast reactive hypoglycemia. Camera do nothing during 12-hour fast sleep. Is that good? What? Can't find Kerrygold butter. Store brand is okay. No. Try to find another type of grass-fed butter, even though Kerrygold was, corn finished. Okay, guys, we are almost at an hour, and you know that everything gets slowed down, and I stay on my streams too long, and then the evening comes, and I try to go to bed by 9:30, so it's already like over 6 now. By the time I eat and take a shower, there's not a lot of time to write, so I'm trying to cut my streams down, so I'm not doing 2-hour streams anymore. Does anybody want me to tell you a quick story, do stuff story time? And I kind of feel like I watch live streamers all the time, and it's so unfair because they get to just do whatever and on camera, and I've got to, be Dr. Steph. And sometimes I just like to talk about other things because I am 50, so I'm not a millennial. So I got stories to say. Bananas are not okay. Bananas are just modified fructose garbage. Kidney story time? I don't get that. What can you do to help lower blood sugar? A lot of stuff. I've got so many live streams talking about how to lower blood sugar. Your blood sugar is high because either you have a gut dysbiosis, you have too much toxins in your life, you hold stress, you don't have a straight plumb line. I mean, there's a million reasons why you don't sleep well, you have too much, you have a reactive hypoglycemia in the middle of the night, so it's just too many. No tahini. Thank you, Nicole West. Thank you for donating to the super chat. Shalala wants me to do a story. Does anybody want me to tell a story before we go? Are you guys good? And you ready for me to hit the road, Jack? And for anyone else, can you like up this stream? Because you guys know I try to go every other day. If I don't do it every day, I'm still alive, my heart's still beating, and I didn't die from a keto heart attack. So, story. I need more if you guys want me to tell a story, just to bring another part of this stream. Now, a lot of streaming people, the drama draws you in. Like, they fight with each other. It's crazy, these streamers, right? I start watching them and, like, the Ice Poseidon and all that weird stuff. They do weird stuff on camera, and then they survive on donations. I don't. But I want to know what you guys want me to talk about. Pals like, no, go finish your book. Egg white protein is garbage. Okay, so, what do I talk about? Do I talk about working out? Do I talk about, I don't want to talk about keto specifically. Do I talk about, what do I talk about? Speaker's choice. I want to hear the African village story. I have a lot of African village stories. Okay, I can tell you this about my travel. Hi, Steph. What are the similarities? Similarities between English and Swedish from syntax standpoint. What's the difference between the two? Americans speak from the throat. So we go right, like, especially Californians are like, yeah, hear that here? Yeah, bro. So fabulous. That's how we speak here. The R is here. But Swedish, the R is in the mouth. Ra, ra, ra. Right? Inge fora. Right? Rabet. So I think that other languages people speak more in the mouth, and we speak more in the guttural throat. So I asked someone years ago, what does English sound like before you learned it? And they said like a dog barking. I was like, what? A dog barking? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, that is ugly as frack. That's how English sounds. He was like, yep, just sounds like a dog barking. So when people come to the States, because I have a friend, I might live stream with him tomorrow. Real quick, I'm going to show him how to do live streaming. He's from Lithuania, and we were trying to refine his accent. So we were trying to discuss the difference. And Americans speak from the throat, and other countries speak from the mouth. So Swedish people, syntax-wise, which I didn't talk about, syntax would be like how it bounces. So you'd be like, hey son, hur det läget? Hur mår du? La la la, la 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 la, meh meh meh. And I don't talk like that. That's the reason why when I learned Swedish, I was like, I am not going to have that syntax. I know I should, but that is not my personality. I'm not going to be like, lägger, essa, hur mår du? Fantastisk. No, I'm not going to speak like that. So I didn't. But I'm also not going to sound like a barking dog speaking Swedish. So a barking dog, rah, 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 in another language sounds like this. Hur mår du? Jag heter Stephanie, jag kommer från USA, jag gillar att prata svenska. That's how American sounds. And I'm like, I'm not going to sound like that. No, I'm not going to sound like, la, 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 no. So I just found my own little syntax. All right, so story time really quick. My next broadcast, I think I might do one tomorrow. Call it Steph Adventures. Okay, Steph Adventures. Okay. Oh, Africa. I think I told you guys this story about when I got off the boat. I went to Tanzania. I was there for 2 months. I got really, really sick. So when I went, there was no internet back then when I went, because I am 50, turning 51. And when I went to Africa, I went to Tanzania, and I was living in Sweden. Yes. Jag bodde i Göteborg för några år sedan. Okay? And jag hade en kompis som sa till mig, Stephanie, du måste say, oh, thank you so much, Chantel. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and expertise. Thank you so much. Thank you. Tack så mycket. That's Swedish. Tack så mycket. I don't talk like that. I'll be young. Yo, tack. Okay, so tense your calves, please. No, that's weird. I don't do it. I'm weird, not like that. Sorry, bruh. I got like patterned pants on. You can't see me tense my calves. Anyway. So, workout regime, I'll talk about that later. So I'm going to talk about this I'll do kind of like a couple of stories. So I go to Africa. My friend's like, come down to Africa. He was actually Yugoslavian, immigrated to Sweden, like when he was really young. So he was basically Swedish. And he was trying to learn Swahili. I've explained this story before. He was trying to learn Swahili and was like, I'm a black person. So, even though people are like, what ethnicity are you mixed with? I was like, I'm a black person. So he's like, you should come to Africa. You're the one person I want to come. And he called me on my house phone, because we didn't have cell phones then. This is like in my early 20s. And so I go to Africa, and I don't have any money with me. He's like, you don't need any money. You don't need any money. Just come down. You can stay with me. I'll host you and all this kind of stuff. So I remember I remember this is like black and white. So I get off the plane. It's the middle of the night. Like, it's dark. And I take a taxi, right, for almost an hour to a small village in the middle of nowhere, okay, where you have goats on the roof, right? And I'm like in cinder block homes and all this kind of stuff, no street lights. And I was just like, it was bizarre. So I make it to the little guest house that he's staying, and everything's fine. The next day, and this is like, I don't know, like, the 90s were like little half tops. So I had like this much of my stomach showing back then. Okay. And it was like a t-shirt with a little bit of stomach, and I had jeans on and flip-flops. And I walked out into that village, and they were like they looked at me like I was a straight up prostitute. And I was like, alrighty then. I was like, and so they were staring at me like I was an alien. I started pulling down this little top, the little midriff top. I started pulling it down, and I just walked back to the little, I walked back to the guest house I was staying in, and I just put on the biggest t-shirt that I could. And my hair was literally braided all the way to the end. So it was braided all the way, and had like down here. And back then, braids were really, really popular in Tanzania. So even though I was lighter skinned and my features didn't resemble theirs at all, in Tanzania, which is East Africa, there is a big Arabic mix, because what you guys don't know is that Saudi Arabia and a lot of these Arabic countries actually created slave trade way before West Ivory Coast. Y'all didn't know that, did you? Y'all didn't know that a lot of Muslim Middle Eastern countries created a slave trade out of East Africa. So if you go to East Africa, you see Somalians and Eritreans and Sudanese. They'll have even some of the Egyptians. They have weird features. They'll be like not like small noses and like kind of afro, but then the hair is kind of straight. Like they've got different features. So what you don't know is that there's this huge mix. So my mix is all types of stuff, which doesn't match the East Africans, but it wasn't making me African, which is like, you know, very dark and very curly hair and very Afrocentric features. So they just put me in that, oh, you must be mixed with Muslim. And as long as my hair was braided and I had a long t-shirt on, I could fit right in. It was no problem. So I'm staying in this village, and I just remember the next day I was walking around, and you found, it was like women had, they had like this like towel thing, and they would just wrap their kids up in there like a burrito, right? You couldn't even see the kid. And then they would have these big buckets on their head, like this donut thing, and they would just walk with the kid wrapped on them, right? And just walk around, no shoes on, and I was like, I'm on the moon. I am on the moon. Like I'm in my 20s, right? And I'm like, I'm on the moon. This is like, I'm in a movie. Like, when somebody say like, you know, cut, like, stop rolling the tape, I'm like, this was very bizarre. So, I remember this is like, I have a lot of stories from this trip, but I'm just saying some of the fun stuff. So I avoided the sun because I lived in Sweden. Okay, so this is stuff with a tan. I'm super tan right now. Okay. So, but when I lived in Sweden, I look like a white person. Okay, your skin does not see the day of light for months. And I went to Tanzania in the middle of winter, so I was pale. And all I wanted to do was get a tan. Like, I was just like, I want a tan. I want the sun to hit my body, but I had to cover up because women cannot show their body there. So I was just like, because, you know, it's Christian and quasi-Muslim. So I'm like, I literally, like, first of all, I want to take the braids out. Like, I just want my hair to breathe, you know. So I remember, I was like, I don't care. The last 2 days before I go back to Sweden, I am going to tan. I'm going to put on a tank top. I'm going to roll it up, and I'm going to let these braids out because my hair is like, ugh. And I did that, and it, like, the way that they treated me when I let my hair out, the locals that I had been around in this small village. Now, this whole African trip went from me living. I was in a village called Sinza. If you Google it, it's outside of Dar es Salaam. And I also went to Zanzibar, and I went to Arusha to go on which I have more stories about Arusha, because I was in Africa for almost 2 months, and then I got like malaria, and I was stupid because I didn't take malaria pills. And a lot of foreigners that go there like sleep with these young girls, like just like Brazil. I've been to Cuba. When I went to Cuba, I stayed with a family in Cuba, and like all these weird places, people think I'm a local. I'm in Cuba, I'm with my friend, and he's Spanish speaking, and he's dark, and we're walking around the beach in Cuba, in Havana, and you've got these British tourists, these white dudes, and they come up and proposition me for sex. Which then I was like, oh no, you didn't! You nasty mother sucker, you nasty! And I was like screaming at him, and he just got so insecure. This is when I was in Cuba. I was screaming at him, I mean, you nasty, disgusting pig, you, and I was swearing up a storm, which I can't do on these chats. And I said, you should be ashamed of yourself, you nasty. This is how you spread venereal disease in these people, and they're poor and all this kind of stuff, because he saw me as a Cubanita. But, you know, in Africa, you also have a problem with tourists sleeping with young 12-year-olds. Yes, you do. Yes. And so my experiences, I have so many stories from that trip, but as to not go deep into one story, I just kind of talked about when I arrived, how it was for me to stay in this village, and all this stuff happened within the 2 months. And then when I went home, I was like, I'm going to get a tan. And I was like, I don't care how much they stare at me. I don't care. I let my hair out, and they start touching my hair because my hair is not as curly as their hair is. And they start touching my hair, and they're like, you need to cover up. I'm like, nope. I'm going to get a tan. And that's it. So that's my African quick story. I don't know who eats keto. He's got keto rashes from toxin cells, candida. Yeah, it's a die-off effect when you when you don't feed the candida spores. Do I think Brad Pitt is hot? You know what? When Brad Pitt was younger, I never thought he was hot. I was like, I don't know why everybody thinks he's so hot. Like, that's just how I was. I never thought that that dude was so hot. Now that I'm older and he's older, I'm like, okay, he looks pretty good for his age. You know what I mean? He looks all right. But I'm not like, oh my god, he's so hot. Even though I grew up around a lot of white people and went to an all white school, which is why I have this affectation, right? This syntax, this inflection when I speak. I got stories about that too. In the 80s, where they hear your voice on the phone. They're like, oh my god, it's so fabulous. And then you show up, and they're like, you're not the same person I spoke to on the phone. Yes, I am the same person you talked to on the phone, fool. I got stories about that. 99%. Nice bike, thanks. The way I speak is beautiful. Thank you. When I came back from Sweden, because I lived there for 11 years, and when I came back, I sounded like I was not from the U.S., okay? And I would run into people to be like, where are you from? What country are you from? I was like, yo, I was born in L.A. What you talking about? Because I was so, you mimic, if you speak English in other countries, you have to mimic the way they speak, or else they don't understand you. You cannot talk fast. You've got to speak like this. Everything becomes gapped. So I'm going to go downtown to watch a movie, and then afterwards I'm going to go and work out. And I spoke like this all the time, like a robot. And then I came back speaking like that. Pitbull and Husky. Pitbull plus Husky. Jack Russell. Jack Russell. Jack Russell. I had a Jack Russell in Sweden. I brought him to the States. My poor little baby died. It's my little Jack Russell. I don't know if you can see him. He was in the water. He was a water dog. He had that like little spot around his eye, and I brought him to the dirty U.S. poison and snail poison on the grass, and he got sick and he died after being perfectly healthy while living in Sweden. I am a dog lover. I love me some. I want to get another dog, but I don't want to live in a shoebox. See, this is a shoebox. Okay? I live in a really great part of LA. I can literally just ride my bike everywhere, but it is a shoebox. Oh, Shiloh, I love Jack Russell. So people going like, what kind of dog do you want next? It's like, I was so in love with my dog. I was in love with him. I was in love with this dog, okay? In love. This was my friggin' everything. So when he died, I was like, I do not want to walk on these nasty streets anymore. I want to have a house with a yard, and I want to let my Jack Russell, because them Jack Russells are so smart. I had a Jack Russell. He did so many tricks. I could get him. I could bend over. He would jump over my back. I could walk, and he would do circle 8 between my legs. He was the kind of dog who could do a backflip and catch frisbees up to here. He was a smart dog. I could say, go get my keys. He would bring my keys and drop them on me, because I'm one of those psycho people that if I'm going to have a dog, I want a smart dog. I don't like dogs that just jump on you and bark. No, I don't put up with that. Birds on the beach. I think they're getting rid of those birds, because the birds in Santa Monica and in LA and all over Hollywood are just, they're like littered. It's horrible. There's no organ. When I went to Denmark, they do things smart. When I was in Copenhagen, I love Copenhagen, you guys. I love Copenhagen, and I actually love Danish. I love Danish. I love Danish. I really do want to learn Swedish. I wanted to learn Danish, but no, I ended up moving to Sweden. You know, I wanted to be like, Faden goda, det går fint. Okay, all right, guys, so I'm just being silly now, but I've kept 108 people with my silliness. I don't have any drama. I know that when I watch live streams, there is a lot of drama. And I've been really, really good at not being so opinionated, because people tried to incite me to talk about other keto people, and I am so transparent. I just say what I think, and then people are like, ew, still listening to all your stuff and learning. Thank you, Monique. I will come back. You guys know I keep coming back with subjects. Go to my Instagram. It's Stephanie Ketogenic Just, I'm constantly putting out free information there all the time, really good stuff. In fact, every day I'm all like, can I think of today? And then I run a keto course, which is called the Keto Course, yes. But you have to sign up through my site, or you can go to my Facebook, which is Stephanie the Business Person. I have a website, stephanieperson.com, if you guys want a consultation and want to talk to me directly. I'm way more calm, I'm way more centered, but I am a badass. Don't get it twisted. I know what I'm doing. You want to hear stuff, not other keto people? Yo, I'm not going to lie. I was like, because when live streaming is hard. And I feel like if you can live stream and take all the questions, you're kind of cool. So one person I don't like, I was like, okay, I'm going to watch this person's live stream. And I said this last stream, everything that this person said was keto and intermittent fasting. You got thyroid? Keto and intermittent fasting. You're overweight? Keto and intermittent fasting. You got lupus? Keto and intermittent fasting. Okay, I see that, pal. I see you. Maybe one day we'll talk about Candida protocol. Yeah, we'll talk about Candida. Candida is pretty much what I was saying in the beginning of this stream, so you guys watch the replay. Like, essentially, you have to heal the gut wall. And you have to rotate your foods. Candida spores really, really love sugar. People have dysbiosis of the gut. Their good bacteria is way too low and the bad bacteria is growing like crazy. So you have to eliminate those foods that are making Candida grow. And just simple things like Candida loves cortisol. Loves cortisol. So if you have things like reactive hypoglycemia, the cortisol was high and then dropped to low. And that's an explosion of Candida. Not sleeping well at night, explosion of Candida. So to get rid of Candida, you've got to kind of do the opposite of those things, and you have to really heal that gut wall. And a lot of people have Candida because I'm burping, but not like out loud. People have low HCl levels, and so that makes parasites and Candida have the ability to grow because the acidity in your stomach, which is why don't ever drink alkaline water, ever. Because you can neutralize your stomach acids, which are your protection barrier to pathogens. And one of those things is Candida. So I'll go more into it later. Cortisol and hypoglycemia are interchangeable. Yes, because to get that low blood sugar, it had to be really high. And then that's the problem with insulin. And insulin can be caustic. It can stack up and glycate as well. It can damage cells, and people don't understand that when they carb load. Like, can I carb back load? Can I refeed on a bunch of high carbs? And you develop problems with your insulin regulation. And then insulin will bring your blood sugar from high to low, and then your glucagon, and the relationship between insulin and glucagon doesn't work very well, and then you just stay low. And it's a hot mess. All right, guys, thank you so much. I'm all over healing the gut in the morning. Take coconut oil and bone broth before meals. You need to have some animal fat. Well, coconut oil is great, but it is not. It's great in certain contexts, but not in every context. If I had to choose between coconut oil and animal fat, it'd be animal fat all day. Lower my insulin with metformin. But metformin is really dangerous too. You can lower your blood sugar by just doing things the right way. Breathing, diaphragmatic breathing, keto the right way. Metformin is really toxic, FYI. Just Google it. Google it! Get 300 grams of fat, right? I had 400 in the beginning. I'm a chick who's small. All right, guys. Thank you so much, but don't get it twisted. I'm strong. I may be small, but I'm strong. You guys have a great day, morning, wherever you are in this world. I love cultures, languages, different colors of skin, from all rainbow types. I love haplogroups. I love migrational patterns. I love egalitarian societies back in the day when we were hunter-gatherers. I love the whole understanding of the microbiome, the hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal, and thyroid axis, and synapses, and your neocortex, and quantum physics, and riding horses, and having great conversation, and laughing my arse off. That's what I love. And I hope that you guys find the things that you love as well. And I'm about to get out. Oh, I love sports. Y'all know I love sports. Well, I don't like watching sports. Watching sports is like a bore to me. I like doing sports. That's why I was a skateboarder. Consultations, go to stephanieperson.com. Thank you, Deborah. Love how you, what is it? Love you. How do you kill Candida? I just explained MM. And look at the beginning of the video as well. I had female surgery and had to do a bowel prep. Now having problems with my movements. Sometimes hard surgery. have movements every day or two. So is that a statement or a question? Um, you had female surgery. Is that hysterectomy? Did you have endometriosis? Did you have cysts? Did you have polycystic ovarian syndrome? Did you have fibroids? Like, what was it that you had? Something that, like, because, like, what people don't understand is, like, them ovaries are so close to your, like, bladder and your bowels, and so if you've got certain issues, it can really wreak havoc on you being able to poop and also peeing 100 times a night. Thank you, everyone. It's 11:19. See, I told you I was going to go off in an hour. Now I'm 20 minutes over. I'm such a fool. I am just so, like, I have no discipline with my community. So cheesy. I can't stand the word my community. I gotta find another word. My tribe. Yeah, that's kind of cheesy too. But had ideas about taking keto to the masses will support local farmers and the economy all overall and cause raise of standards. Thank you, Gary. He writes, sorry, I'm going straight to Gary. All right, okay. Hi, Stephanie. My work schedule has changed. I have been missing your live streams. Stephanie, we appreciate it. Thank you, Gary. Well, just let me know, because Gary, you're on the chat, so just tell me good times that you can still catch me, and I will try to accommodate you, because I love my Gary. Okay, let's see. I think you changed the theme in your settings. We'll change the font, color, sounds. Oh, to make them whatever. But thank you, Kishel. Let me see. Okay. If only people were aware of that instead of feeding those pharma guys. Yes, I agree. Business buddies, Gary. That's what's up. You guys, don't let people dictate who you are and how you should be. Don't let people put you in classifications, left, right, central, middle. Don't let anybody do any of that to you. Just be you. Don't let people, bully you because you're eating keto and everyone's like, you're weird. Oh my God, you're eating that weird diet. You're going to get a heart attack from too much cholesterol. Like, just don't listen to any of that. Any thoughts on grass-fed collagen? Yeah, I've had it for years. All right, guys, but I'm all into my liver right now. Fabulous. My beef and chicken liver. All right, guys, thank you so much. Have a wonderful life. And I'll be back. All right, I'll be back. Maybe I will do a what do you guys want me to talk about stream next time. Right? I don't have anything like Tinder terrors because I'm not on Tinder and will never be on Tinder. So I have no dating app stories now. Kind of boring. I don't put up with BS, so then I don't have any drama. That's boring too. Love your chat. So much information. Wish you were closer to have a face to face. Sorry, just trees and leaves. How do you keto budget? How do you keto? Easy. Circadian rhythm all over the world. Yeah, exactly. Keto is easy because on keto you don't have to eat constantly. Them LCTs take hours to break down, plus the right type of fatty protein, so you are satiated. It costs less to be keto than to drink $60, $80 protein shake garbage and stopping to eat nasty food at restaurants, and now you're food prepping. It's way cheaper to do keto. Don't get it twisted. How much of my consultations? Go to StephaniePerson.com because I don't like to talk about prices on the internet, but I am more affordable than all these other people, and I know more than they do. Because I must toot my own horn. You must have some type of self-value and self-worth. Otherwise, why even bother? Thank you, everyone. And thank you for getting the lights up. For anyone else who's not liked this stream, please like the stream one more time because I got what? Energy. And I'm not wearing a zebra. So have a great day. These are my Amazon clothes. Like, I know how to, like, $14, like another like $16 for the pants. I am like the Amazon queen, right? All my jewelry's all Amazon. I'm an Amazon weirdo. Good night. Thank you. Summer, midnight sunny, at 10 p.m. and winter pitch black. That's Sweden or Alaska. or Poland or Ixikaxikolme. Good night, everyone. Good night. Sleep tight. Enjoy your life, because I will all the time. Bye, guys. Should I sub? Yes! Sub! How's everything in Russia? I gotta go to Russia too. Love your energy. Thanks, guys. And for those who keep telling me to stop being all over the place, stop telling me how to live stream. Thank you. You're welcome. All right, guys. I'm out. Peace. Bye. Thanks again. Thank you for everyone. Thank you for all the people. Thank you everyone who donated to the super chat, and also thank you Deborah for always being such an incredible mod. And when Richard's able to chime in, thank you Richard as well. Thank you everyone, and thank you Lulu Lime Designs and Juliet and Gary and everyone who supported me. Thanks guys. I'm out. Enjoy everything you can in life, and I'm out.